Are you binging on presidential election coverage? If so, you're not alone, and the entertainment, publishing, even sports industries are feeling the pinch as viewers flocking to the latest Donald Trump-Hillary Clinton Barb Fest don't have the bandwidth left for much else. WSJ's John Jurgensen joins us now from Chicago with more on this. Hi, John. Usually when we refer to binge watching, we're talking about the new hottest series on Netflix or Amazon, but this election seems to have cornered the market on viewership.
Yeah, I mean, the content and the format might be different, but the obsession sure seems familiar, right? I mean, instead of looking for the next episode of your Netflix show, you're waiting for the next debate or the next campaign stop, which usually promises to, produce something crazy and that's going to drive the next news cycle and drive people onto social media. So it's this feeling that a lot of people have where they are really tired of it, but they can't look away.
And it's sucking up all the oxygen in the room. John, in your story, you have numbers from this fall showing primetime TV viewership, movie theater ticket sales, even NFL viewership dropping noticeably from last year at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame this all on the election, of course. TV viewership has been sliding in a lot of ways over the years, but people in the entertainment industry all sort of agree that the election is really a factor in this. When the election turns into a form of entertainment, even if it's kind of cringeworthy entertainment sometimes, it's going to distract people from other things. We saw from TV numbers that people who are heavy news viewers are watching fewer sitcoms and fewer crime procedurals directly. So yeah, it really seems like there's a kind of an eroding effect on some of the bigger entertainment stuff. I mean, at least as a source of distraction that's taking people away from the stuff they normally do in the fall.
Absolutely. And can you explain how this is particularly impacting book publishers as we near the holiday season, big selling time for them?
Yeah, it is, especially for big nonfiction titles, ones that don't have to do with the election or really sort of possibly getting overshadowed by campaign and political titles this fall. Also, think about the release date for a lot of books that happens to be Tuesdays. So with Election Day coming up, the new Jack Reacher novel, for example, is going to be released a day early, and that publisher is trying to take advantage of some of the buzz around Election Day and piggyback on a little bit. There's going to be some coffee giveaways at polling stations while they're trying to market Jack Reacher along with election stuff. So people are trying as much as they can to sort of either benefit from it somehow or at least not get steamrolled by election coverage.
And in your story, you spoke with, publishing houses and marketers who told you they were frustrated that they feel people aren't really buying books right now. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it goes along with some of the stuff that's impacting TV and movies. It's just kind of fragmentation of the audience. And it's certainly not all election related. There's lots of stuff that are driving down book sales and TV viewership. But this is just one big kind of cloud that's hung over the culture since the summer, really.
Sure.
I mean, longer than a lot of election cycles, too. So I think that kind of anxiety and obsessive watching of it is, again, just sort of chipping away at our attention that would be devoted to other things.
And as part of the frustration on the part of marketers, for instance, is that the normal amount of media coverage they might otherwise get to go to their shows and movies and books doesn't seem to be available to them right now.
Yeah, I mean, we heard sort of mixed things about that. In some respects, people do want some escapist fare. Dr. Strange is going to come out and probably, do great big numbers at the box office. On the other hand, I talked to a couple people who are sort of entertainment pundits who go on TV a lot and talk about new releases and things like that. And they've told me that they're just not getting the bookings that they normally do in the fall. They're sort of waiting for the phone to ring instead of going on TV, which, a lot of the political pundits are taking up that
Well,
space.
I'm so glad you brought that up because there is one area of entertainment that certainly has benefited from this election cycle, correct?
Yeah, I mean, late night TV is like,
on fire.
And that's not surprising. SNL does usually Saturday Night Live does usually get a big kind of boost when election coverage comes. People want to see those impressions. Alec Baldwin's had a big hit with his Donald Trump. And so, that's pretty expected, but, it's across the late night board, especially cable news, of course, is doing great as well. But you see things like Stephen Colbert jumping at the chance to do live election night coverage on Showtime, his sister to CBS because he's getting preempted on his own network. So why not use the time on pay cable?
Absolutely. That's pretty telling right there. All right. Thank you, John Jurgensen, for all that.
My pleasure.